Having run my own business for 30 years now, you can imagine that I've tried pretty much every productivity hack and pretty much every productivity tool that you can imagine. And I may not be a total nerd, but I'm right up there in the high percentiles. So I'm very open to the advantages and benefits of tech, and I will try pretty much everything and see if it works for me. And what I'm going to share with you today is the small group of tools that really genuinely help me run my businesses. I've got more than one. So it's a very small and quite select group of tools, and I think you'll be surprised at how straightforward they actually are, because there are lots of things that I could use, might use, possibly ought to use, but they're not things that I'll use every day, and they're not actually a massive benefit because they're either enormously expensive and don't give a lot of benefit for the money, or they're massively complicated to use, or they are a time suck, or whatever it may be. So here are the tools that I genuinely use every single day to help me run my businesses. The first, which might surprise you, is Google Docs. We are using Google Docs as a deliberate choice rather than using Microsoft Office Suite, which uses SharePoint and OneDrive and all the other tools that come with it. Originally, when I started to use it, I was using it because my colleagues were working incredibly remotely, and this is going back 7-8 years when we first started using it. And at that point, honestly, Google Sheets was always okay, but the other parts of it weren't all that, and it was okay. But the main advantage it gave us was the fact that we could work remotely without needing to have massive plugins. Now it's just superb. I find that Google Doc is better than Word. It's more adaptable. It does things better. It's easier for desktop publishing. I just much prefer using using Docs to Word. I use Sheets rather than Excel. Much of a muchness, but I find that Sheets is easier and quicker to use. Big advantage of all of this is the immediate connection to Google Drive, which you can access from anywhere. You can make Google Drive extra secure if you want to. There's just a huge suite of tools that all fit together brilliantly. You can share them with whoever you want to within the team. You can give them permanent access. You can give them one-time access. It's just really great. And we use Google Docs, the whole suite, for pretty much everything when it comes to writing documents, writing workbooks and tools. We use it for planning creative campaigns and things like that. We use it as a spreadsheet. We use it for evaluating results. We do all sorts of things with it. Really massively useful, and has the added benefit of, until you're using a lot of extra space on Google Drive, it's free. So happy days. The second one I use literally every day is Canva, canva.com, Australian company, and it's literally a designer for free on the web. Now it's interesting because one of my clients is a clothing company in one of my other businesses. They're a clothing company, and they're desktop designers, they're Mac operators. One of them actually turned around to me and said, yeah, you know, what I'll sometimes do if I need to get rid of a background, I'll run it through Canva and then put it into Adobe to do the fine detail work. That's how good this free software is. You can use it to design Instagram posts, Facebook posts. You can use it to design adverts for any format. You can create brochures, business cards, leaflets, flyers, anything you might want. If it's visual and it's anything to do with my business, like the headers on my LinkedIn, the posts that go out on Instagram, the top banners that are on my Facebook and my YouTube, all of those produced in Canva. And you get just an enormously professional looking result. Just use their templates, drop your text in or drop your images in, bosh, done. Now, if you're a regular user like I am, I pay, I think it's about £9 a month and that gives me access to their enormous library of images and videos which are copyright free. So I can look for any kind of image I want, drop it into my designs, never worry about copyright, never worry about any kind of infringement. It's such an enormously good tool, and I use it day in, day out for so many different things. The more you use it, the more usage you'll find for it. The third is Trello, which is the tool that we use to plan and monitor our workflows. So producing this video, for example, the Trello board will start with deciding the titles, outlining the content, creating the script for the video, shooting the video, editing the video, and it will just walk me through each of them. And there's various things that you can build in. Now, there are automations you can build in so that when you've done something, you can, for example, tell a colleague to take over from you, or you can send yourself messages to remind you. You can do all sorts of things with it. It's a very simple looking tool, and you can use it as a very basic, effectively project management and workflow management tool. And it's simply a Kanban board. If you're not sure what that is, feel free to look it up. But a Kanban board, essentially, it's just a series of cards with checklists or embedded links or whatever you want to use on them. And we use that all the time for anything that's video, project or workflow related. We always use it for anything that has more than one person involved in it. So it's just a really simple way. Now, you can use it as a simple list of checklists, or you can use it as a genuine workflow management tool where it will flag if you're off schedule. It will automatically share things at the right time with the right people. It will automatically save to Google Drive and download to the local drive at the same time. You can do all sorts of automations with it. The more automations you use, you'll eventually get to the point where you need to start paying for it. But you can access the free version, and you can do huge amounts of stuff with that. The idea of doing as much social media and video work as I do without using something like Trello, it makes my skin crawl. Really powerful and free. The next one I use all the time, which is not free, is Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a social media scheduling tool. They're expanding the capacity of it, so you can start to reply to comments and things like that with it. Yeah, not really. But as a scheduling tool, absolutely brilliant. You can schedule almost an infinite number of posts. There are limits depending on the amount you pay, but you could, for example, schedule, as I do, certain of your social media. Actually, some of mine I've got scheduled out 6 months ahead. For example, if you follow me on social media at all, you'll see the Twitter quotes that come out, which is copies of my old Twitter posts, which have been dropped into Canva and then turned into posts for Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and as of next week, TikTok. They go through that little workflow system in Trello, see what I mean? And I upload them into Hootsuite, pre-type the comments, pre-type the hashtags, schedule it to go out whenever I want it to go out. So for my Twitter quotes, I've got literally 6 months in advance because they're not going to change. If there's something I particularly want to put out, I can delete the one for next Tuesday and put something else in its place. So it's not fixed in stone. It just means that I don't have to worry about it for the next few months or the next few weeks or the next few days. There are limitations. It will upload video perfectly well to your Facebook company page, but you cannot schedule to your personal Facebook page. It will schedule video to LinkedIn. It won't schedule video to Instagram. So you need to look at it and see what it can and can't, will and won't do. But basically, if you're putting out still images or short videos and with text attached to it, and you're putting out on the major media channels, that will take so much stress off your back. I mean, just enormous amounts of stress relief, knowing that you don't have to produce something every single day. You can batch it and send it out. That was bat. batch it, not batch it. You can batch it, record a whole series of things in a lump, and then schedule them to drip feed out over the course of a week or 10 days or whatever it may be. The other one that I'm personally addicted to and hugely grateful for is good old Mailchimp. Now, I know that there are a million different email platforms you can use. I use Mailchimp. I might, if I'm using ClickFunnels or one of the other platforms, I might sometimes use them because it's easier for a particular project. But generally, I use Mailchimp as my go-to. It's the heart of all my email communication. So my main email lists for the various businesses are all kept within Mailchimp. Above a certain, I mean, you've got to pay for Mailchimp. There is no free version of Mailchimp. But even the most basic version, which is cheap as chips, you can have up to 5,000 contacts in. And for most recruitment consultants, 5,000 contacts is a pretty decent database, to be honest. So if you can build your own email list to support the email list that your company is hopefully building, then that's a huge tool and a great advantage for you. You need to learn your way around Mailchimp. It's not instinctive. The reason for that being, it's been around for donkey's years. It's been around for, I don't know, 20, 25 years, maybe longer. And they haven't done a ground up rebuild for a while, or when they have, it's not. So there's a lot of stuff that's terminology and ways of doing things that are a little bit legacy. So if you create an email and then you save it, it doesn't take you back to the most obvious place. It takes you all the way back to the dashboard. So there's a few clunks and things like that. But once you've got your head around the basic doing of it, brilliant tool. For example, the regular newsletter emails that I'll send out, I'm sure you're receiving them now, those are written in advance, written straight in. I don't bother writing them into Google Doc. I just write them straight into Mailchimp, put them in there, drop any graphics that I've made in Canva, drop in any links to YouTube or to this video or whatever it may be. Bosh, done, out. It's hugely good. And I can also create it and then schedule it to go out in the particular circumstance. So this video is scheduled through Mailchimp to go out to you after you've received day 7 of the program. It's just an automated system. Alternatively, I can write 2 or 3 emails at the weekend, schedule them so that they go out over the course of the week or the month or the quarter or whatever. So huge productivity bonus from simply doing that. The interface is good enough to use it as the word processor creator. So it's great. Those are the 5 tools. Believe it or not, that's it. I run probably 90-95% of my business is run using those tools. Because are there more sophisticated things out there? Yeah. Do I need them? No. Is it worth investing the time, money and effort to learn how to use those things in return for not that much of a productivity bonus? Nope. So, in the case of Trello, for example, could I move to Monday or one of the other systems? Yeah, absolutely. Do I need to? Not at this stage, no. Monday and Asana have advantages over Trello at a certain point when you're doing certain things. For me at the moment, really ain't worth it. Trello is quick, fast and cheap, and that's enough for me. At the level, with the volume I'm doing, which is probably far more than you'll ever need to, it's absolutely great. Just as an example. So that's it. Those are the 5 tools I use every day to keep my businesses productive and keep all the workflow coming through and hopefully keep the wheels on.